How's it going, man?
Good.
Long time no see.
It's good to be back in the nice room here that I used to sleep in many a nights.
Many a nights in
it's
the
nice.
womb.
In the womb, yeah, we used to call it. It's cool. It's good.
Yeah, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Well, since you came back from New York.
Yeah, because I was in New York for a few weeks and it was very nice. Busy time there.
Want a beer?
No, you go ahead.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I'm gonna probably pop the most sober Irishman in the world.
In Rome right now, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, scary.
Well, enjoy your beer.
Thank you. I will totally enjoy that. I wanted to bring you a few Guinness in a can, but then I figured it's gonna be an insult to an Irishman.
No, it's well, later on we're going to be playing our concert tonight in the Fiddlers Elbow, so
right.
I'm sure we'll have a few
Sláinte.
And sure we have a few beers later maybe, so yeah.
Just like the doctor ordered. So Paul, for everybody who does not know you, there's not many people who don't know you, but for our new listeners, for our 5 listeners listening, if we're lucky,
5 people that know
5
me.
people that probably know you.
Yeah.
For that one person that does not know you, of the 5 people watching, tell us a bit about yourself. How comes that an Irishman like yourself, a musician and photographer, and what else you do? You do a lot of stuff. IT, technology guy, lives in Rome. Well, lives in Italy in general. Anyway, how did you come here?
Well, in the past I've been to Italy many times for vacation, and the first time I was here I came to Rome, and then I was only here for about half a day. I didn't like the place at all. Thought it was chaotic,
It is.
And I needed a holiday basically, so
yeah.
I went to Sicily on a train and traveled around Sicily for a bit, and then came back to Rome at the end of my vacation. I had a lovely time. It was great. I was rejuvenated, from vacation, and explored the cities. The usual, Vatican, all this kind of stuff. Colosseum, all the touristy things. And then I came back a few times again. Time and time, I kept coming back to Rome, and I stayed with a friend of mine in Piazza Bologna.
Piazza Bologna, yeah, that's correct.
Piazza Bologna, and stayed there. It was great, Kind of saw what he was doing, living here. He was a tour guide, It was nice vibes, Just enjoyed it. And then I was around 25. I was getting a bit tired living in Dublin. I just kind of felt I did everything I could do in Dublin as a musician, photographer, whatever. And I just felt a bit bored, So I was here on the weekend with a friend, and she was showing me around. Like, she was showing me different parts of Rome and stuff. And I just liked it. I liked the feel. It was a nice day,
Okay.
It was a nice, weekend. It was a May weekend in 2006. And I was walking around. I was like, I really liked this place. I liked the vibe and had a good time, And I was thinking about doing something anyway. I knew something was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I remember saying to her, I'm going to come to Rome in August. Probably not the best time.
How did she react?
She was like, "You crazy? You're crazy." And all this. I think she was probably thought I was coming for her, but I wasn't. She went away anyway to England at the time. So it was when I got here. I subletted an apartment in a room in this apartment in Via Varese, where you remember I used to live.
Oh yeah,
near to your location before, and it was great. Met Antonio Bibo there, our mutual friend, and he lived in Dublin before, so we had good rapport with each other, and he was been a good friend ever since. Helped me out a bit, got me translated some things for me. I didn't have any word of Italian. Didn't know.
Sure, it's hard being in another city, not speaking a word.
Yeah, we get by, people getting by and learning words as you go, simple things like being courteous when you go to Cafe Buonasera.
Using the hands, the feet.
Hey, fuck off, and it's just build up as you go. And I was teaching. I did a month's TEFL course because I had this idea. Okay, I'll do this TEFL course. So if I go anywhere in the world, I could teach English or have a job. If I go, because I didn't really know what I was going to do. I just went, I'm leaving.
Like for those watching who don't know what TEFL is, it's like a test, like a standardized
teaching English as a foreign language. It's a second language.
Of course, teaching English as a foreign language. I never thought of it like that.
So,
being stupid now.
No. So it was like a very intense course. It was like a month, and at that time I got a job in the Fiddlers Elbow in Rome, and the
famous Fiddlers.
Yeah, where we all met, and so I worked there for about a week or so, and all of a sudden a lot of staff left. The manager left, and other staff members left, and the owner Gina was like, "Oh, you can manage the bar. You can co-manage the bar." I was like, "Okay," so I became a manager.
Wow!
So all that, I finished off the English course as well as starting to work in the Fiddlers. It was just a lot of work. It was crazy, and
so you can put up the picture of the Fiddlers here.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, even though it's mistitled, but anyway. Yeah, so that's the Fiddlers there. It's a nice old Irish pub. It's actually the first Irish pub in Rome. I don't know about Italy. I think it's the second in Italy. It's about over 40 years old. Nice vibes there. Nice people. The bosses, Gino, Orazio, Richard, were all very nice to me. And that's when they had this anniversary. I only started working there, and Richard being a musician as well. And the first time I met him, I was like, "Hey, I want to do an open mic," because the back room, the back room there, it's nice rectangular room, good acoustics, nice dimmed lights. And I was like, I wasn't playing much music because I was in this lull, like when as I said, I was 25, 26. I stopped playing music. I just, where am I? What's my life? Blah, blah, all that shit.
What's my purpose?
I think we all go through in our 20s. Like,
sure.
You finish, or you got to start to be serious, or you stay where you are.
Or get into drugs and just fuck up your life, yeah.
or it's like, where do you go? Like, do you stay here and just, continue that way, or you go and try and have some adventure? So
sure. I
wanted an adventure, so I started this open mic. It was great, I started. There was a pool table there. I moved around and put speakers on.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Good old
rough
memories.
And ready. It was rough and ready, like, and I was working as well. I was doing the open mic while I was like, okay, 2 pints of Guinness. Okay, excuse me 1 second. While the Guinness was setting and play a song. Man?
Nobody would do that these days. Like,
I'm like a jack of all trades, I just do it, and while someone's singing, I go back, and so after a while, I starting to grow, When it started to grow, I was like, I had more power to say, okay, I either do this or that. I can't
Ain't
do
gonna
both.
be doing both.
So I'll bring one member of staff in to cover me, and I'll do this, and then it was easier then, because it was a good night. It was a lot of people coming in of all types of culture and stuff.
Sure.
And it was a great place. Fiddlers was a good time back then, and was good people coming through, and met some dear friends, dear people like yourself, and I actually met my wife there, Emma. She came in one night, and then unfortunately she was left with me. The rest still to this day, and but so
well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah, it was good, and it's good memories, and we still playing there tonight as well. It's always been that place for me as well. I owe it a lot of. I have a lot of fond memories there, and
sure.
Still have a good rapport with people there, and don't go there as much as I used to, but it's still, I pass by, and it's always a nice atmosphere seeing people you haven't seen for a long time. So the open mic went well, and then when I met you there, it's a year or so later when I started, you came in, and we bonded as friends and playing our Springsteen sets and stuff.
Right.
Great.
I had my cowboy.
Bruce Springsteen, I like him because of you. I knew of him when I was younger. My father likes him quite a bit, and I wasn't at the time just didn't really listen to him. But
also Elton John, yeah, right. Leonard Cohen,
yeah,
and Johnny Cash. That's thanks to you that I got introduced
so
to that world.
Influence each other,
Exactly.
Leonard Cohen and Johnny Cash.
I remember the CD on your fridge back then. I think I Was it a CD or you had something pinned on the fridge? I can't quite remember. In the apartment in Via Varese. Anyway. Yeah.
Was it Donny Cash Magnin or something? Or?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, so country was music. At that time when you met me, I was exploring country music, and I got into the Johnny Cash stuff, another country, Willie Nelson, all these artists. And I was trying to play them, you know. Obviously must have played them okay, because people... Very
much so.
If it took you to go and listen to them, then I did something. I did something right. But you know, then after about 2.5 years living in Rome, I decided, my wife's from New York, so we were kind of like, we went to Dublin for a best part of 9 months to a year. And then when I went back to Dublin, she studied in Trinity College to do a master's, and I kind of applied for a visa to go to the States. And while we were waiting, I did an album, basically. I wrote so many songs in Rome. I was waking up every morning, like writing stuff down, you know.
So you have like a whole notebook full of.
Still have that red book, as I call it.
You've been writing a shitload of songs.
Yeah, not as much these days, but a lot then, you know. I have a lot of material, and still, I wrote these songs, and I wanted to see what I could sound like recorded on the first album. Yeah. Between You and Me, and so I wrote these songs, recorded them, and you know, worked with a guy called Paul Thomas in Dublin. He's a very well known engineer, producer, and he was great. He really helped me
Between You and
understand. Oh yeah, there you go. So
it's a nice cover.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's from a painting of a portrait of my wife's grandmother.
Wow.
Painted by her grandfather. He was Jose de Cref. He's a kind of a well-known sculptor, painter from Spain, who emigrated to the States in the 50s, and he painted this big, huge portrait of her. It's in color, but then I took a photo of the face. I liked the face so much, and I wanted to make it kind of Celtic. I don't even think I achieved the goal of it, but the goal was...
Well, it looks good.
It looks like... It's very pretty, actually, and the actual original painting is really nice. And so I kind of posterized it in Photoshop and really darkened the blacks and whites and really stripped out a lot of content. I just wanted it very kind of plain, you know. It's a bit like that album cover, well, what's it, the Transformer. I kind of was going for that, the Lou Reed album, Transformer. Not, he's full portrait, full body, and he's kind of like this. And so I was kind of influenced by that in a way, I believe, as Transformer, yeah. So it's kind of, you know, it's that kind of, I like that kind of type of art, you know. So I was kind of going for something in that effect, as you can see there.
Nice.
Another great, one of my favorite albums. This album is great. So, you know, made it up, recorded the album, and you know, it's a nice album, good songs, I believe. Lyrically, I like it a lot. You know, probably could have recorded it better, but you know, whatever, it's what it is.
Well, it sounds great to me. Where did you record it?
In Dublin. When I went back to Dublin,
with the guy. Sorry, yeah.
When I went back to Dublin with Emma, and while I was there, I recorded that album. And then after that, I went to the States. Lived in New York for about 5 years, and met a couple of guys there, Mike and Shane, and Michael Galante, good close friend, and so is Shane as well, and they great musicians, and you know, they kind of played with me. Like, Shane's a great guitar player. Yeah, he's 50 million times better than me. And he was like, I'll play the bass, man. It's a bit of fun for me, you know. I was like, oh, great, thanks, you know. And then Mike was like, fucking great drummer, you know.
He's really good, yeah.
Heavy nice guy. Hand. He's played with all these great bands there. I was a bit surprised he played with me, because I'm a bit soft, you know. But I was very soft playing with them, but then they kind of rocked me up a bit, you know, because I have it in me, a bit of punk.
Yeah, the album that you recorded is a bit more rocky there.
So I was like to the guy, okay, right, we have these songs. I wrote these songs, about 11 songs. I was like, I'm going to bring you guys to Dublin. I'm going to record it there because I want you out of New York because you'd be distracted.
Yeah.
So it's like a vacation for them, and it's like Ireland, it's great, so it's good feeling. So that album's a nice feeling about it, because when I listen to it, I can remember something, this part, or when we recorded that song or this song. Like the first song, it's what's the first song on the album? So if you get up there, actually, it's get the.
Let's see, Staunton and the Chalmers.
I think the first album, the first song we recorded, we were so like hungover because we were out, we were just excited to be
and
together.
Some guys there. All right, let's see.
All right, so
the playlist. Yeah.
I Want You to Know was the first. Actually, that was the first song we recorded, and we were so like fucking hell, like we were playing, and I was in bits, and we just didn't sleep enough. We just had a good time the night before. Sort of rock and roll,
Yeah.
And so actually it became a good track. Like the solo was one take, I just kept it the way it was, and that was it. And then after that, we calmed down and we recorded, and then we played a gig at the ends of the album. It was good fun, and we brought it back to New York with us. And we played in a few places around Brooklyn and Manhattan and stuff. And
nice.
It was great fun, and they're great guys, and it's a nice album. It's kind of like how could you say, a place and time for the three of us that we were friends. And I just met Shane in New York when I was there, and he was talking to me about the album. He goes, "Oh man, that was one of the greatest experiences of my life," and like he's got good experiences, so I feel part of their musical experience. I think they appreciated it, and they were they contributed a lot to it musically, so all in all, it was pretty good. Living in New York was great. It was, it's a very driven place. It's a lot of activity, as you've been there before, and it was going to a lot of just working hard, and it's just time went very quickly, and it was one of my reasons why I wanted to leave. I just felt time was going so quickly. And so I was one day with my wife, and we were having a lunch or something, and I was like, I think we should go back to Europe, and she was like, oh yeah, great, because she loves Italy, and she was like, I think in a way she was waiting for me to say it, and she stuck with me there, because I was going through all that, and I really appreciate that she did that for me. But I could see she wanted to come back as well. So my intentions wasn't really to come back to Rome. I just wanted to come back to Europe, and I wanted to go. Actually, it was time with the idea of going to Germany, to Berlin.
Okay.
So I wanted
freezing cold there, man.
I know. I've been there in the winter time. It's like Siberia, man. It's but it's a great city, and I thought it would have been good for the both of us. But then the romantic in me.
Oh,
it's like
romantic.
Well, we met in Rome. We should die in Rome, So like, or even divorce in Rome or something. But it has to end in Rome, because that's where it started. Yeah. So hopefully not divorce.
No.
The secret to a successful marriage is not divorce.
Exactly.
So anyway, it's going well, our marriage, and it's good fun. And so we went back, and luckily I brought my job with me that I had in New York, and it was great. We moved into a nice apartment here, and after about a year, I was like, I bought a little house in Umbria, in a little town called Narni. So now I commute from Narni to Rome, because it's a small little place in Rome as well. I rent, and then I have the house. So I travel back and forth now, and it's really good. It's like, it's a good combination. When I'm pissed off the city, I go to the country, and I'm pissed off the country, I go to the city.
Great.
Like you were saying to me, I need to get out of Rome. And I'm like, I need to get into Rome, So it's a nice balance, and I'm very lucky to be able to do it. So very grateful for that. And it's good.
Awesome.
So it's been since 2006. The adventure's still going. The Roman adventure, and learning Italian, speaking is great. Now I'm probably at the pinnacle of speaking very well. I'll say probably a 6 out of 10 or something, and it's much easier when you have a few words under your belt, you know,
Sure.
to communicate. And
I mean, if somebody wants to come to Italy now or to Rome, you laugh.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would advise them? Like anything you would like them to avoid? Any mistakes that you might have made back then? I mean, we all made mistakes at that age generally, but
well, spontaneity is a great thing, you know. And I came here, it was spontaneous. When I was working in a job, I just left it, and then the next day I booked a ticket to Italy and came here.
Okay.
No idea what was awaiting me, and that's a nice feeling, you know. But if someone just wants to be, you know, organized, you know, obviously research where you're going, research rights, like rental rights, and be careful of. Make sure you get a contract when you rent an apartment, because they have a piece of paper, you know, will help you any legal activity, any legal problems.
Sure.
Don't, you know, try and get research how to open a bank account, get your residence card, you know, your health card, bring your E11, I think it's a European health card, you know, if you're staying for less than a certain amount of months, you know. Just think about if you're going to be here for a few years, or if you plan to be here like 1 or 2 years, like, you know, you're going to have to go through all that bureaucracy to get the health card, you know, research your jobs prospects, because jobs here for expats, it's quite limited, I think.
I mean, everybody I know here is either a tour guide, or is a translator,
or
is a bartender, or is a teacher.
Yeah,
exactly.
And there's a few exceptions, like me and you, where we have online jobs, where I work for a company in California, and you work for your company here, and
the band.
We work in the band. We have so we made another piece of advice. If you're anyway talented in certain ways, like utilize that when you go away, because you could make a living from what you really love to do, like what we do. We make money from playing music, and you know, it's not just about the money. We have the
you do something you like.
The privilege. It's a privilege to be able to work at something that you actually like to do anyway, as a hobby. You know,
I think it's a very important thing to have something like that.
It's gratifying, you know.
Oh yeah.
My life at the moment is very gratifying. What I do, music and IT, it's very gratifying. It's like great, you know.
We're very lucky to have. I mean, lucky is also a lot of work, but you know, it's very blessed in a way.
Go through the rigmarole and then you know, keep at it, and you get the benefits in the end. Like you work hard, and you have to learn. You have to learn to where you get to, and it's like anything. We're musicians, or artists, whatever you want to call it, and you know, we're musicians, we're entertainers, we're artists. You know.
Talked about it with Francesco the other day on the podcast. Like
yeah, he probably killed me.
He has a very particular opinion about.
Well, I was
calling yourself an artist.
I don't think he was expressed himself in the way in English that he needed to explain it. But I believe
his
what
brain
he's saying
works
is like,
in beautiful ways.
certain people claim to be artists, and they're just fucking idiots, right? And that's what he's saying. And he's like, some people we know go, "I'm an artist." I'm like, what are you an artist of? I can play Queen music or something. I can play Bohemian Rhapsody. Does that make you an artist, or are you just a copycat? You know. So, to me, I feel I'm an artist now. I'm very comfortable to say to people I'm a musician. When someone's asked me like, "What do you do?" I'm a musician. Before I was kind of
hesitant.
Yeah, because I don't know. Some people might go, "Well, what do you really do? What's your day job?"
Yeah, it's a classic for musicians. I play this and that. What's your real job?
My father was a musician. Yeah. He is a musician still.
Maybe that's one reason why you didn't want to call yourself a musician for a long time. Maybe you kind of looked up to him or something.
No, it was just more. I just didn't feel confident to say it, because I don't know why actually. But like, you know, I have a couple of albums. I'm on a few albums that I recorded with other people. So, and I've wrote songs, and I'm a songwriter. So I believe I'm an artist, you know, in that sense. As in, I believe I'm a musician because I go and entertain.
Sure.
I'm a guitar player, you know. I was a musician before I was even a musician, I think, because my dad's a musician, and I grew up watching him play from a very young age. Probably from the day I was born till I started playing guitar, I've seen him play music. So, and he's left-handed, so he'd be played like this, and I'd watch him, and I could see shapes. I could see fingers, the way he moved his fingers with chords and played some solos.
Okay.
A lot of stuff he did I would never be able to play because he was very, very talented. And so he, I just feel I was always a musician. I just didn't take up the art or the craft until my early 20s. And I bought a guitar and I was like, so, and I've, kind of taught myself and stuff. I always feel I always have that pride I did it myself, but really to give my dad some credit. Actually, he probably taught me to be a musician even without me even realizing it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And when I started playing, I wanted to be that great guitar player and stuff, but it didn't work really well for me to be the brilliant lead soloist, and because I just not really that way, I played nice solos. I couldn't even compare myself to a band like Springsteen or like George Harrison from the Beatles, where you play little small solos, but the notes are nice, But for me, like playing for 20 minutes solo, that's an art in itself, and that's something my father's very, very good at, or other musicians like Jimi Hendrix, all these people.
Sure.
And my dad's that level of playing, like he knows that shit very well. And I like it. I like watching it. I like listening to it. But for me to play it is different. I can't.
But it's just a different style, I guess, no?
It's just something I'm not really interested in doing as a person, as a musician. I prefer playing. So that took me a while to understand, because I was like one day going, what the fuck am I doing? Like I'm trying to do this, but it's not working. And I stripped it all back, and I was like, oh, you're actually a folk guitarist. You're a folk player. You're rock. You're folk rock. You're not your father in a way, but you are in a way, and you're not in a way.
It's like a classical struggle, though, like to kind
I
of
remember playing
understanding
a gig
who you
once,
are.
and this guy was watching myself and my dad play, and he said it was just fucking weird. He said, because we were both like playing, and our hands were moving, our fingers were kind of the same way,
Okay.
but it was left to right. So I was right and he was left,
Yeah.
And he's just like, it was just very uncanny to see. It's just genetics, man, it's just genes, so it's like he would rhythm like this and I would do it the exact same way and stuff, and then he'd go off and do that and I go off and do this and we go back together, and
It's funny.
but some of the gigs I played with my dad are great experiences, because I remember when I started playing the guitar, he was like I kind of disappeared for about 3 months. I didn't talk to him for 3 months.
Really?
When I've got the guitar.
Why not?
Because I was a little bit pissed off at him at the time, because I wanted him to show me some stuff, and he was I think he was hungover or something, and he was like, let's do it tomorrow. And I was like, fuck you, fucker, like, and I was like, I'll fucking prove you wrong. And I went home, and he was right, really, just learn yourself, and
Well, it kind of pushes you
but
to learn
he
that.
taught me lots of stuff anyway afterwards. But it was just that moment. I was just wanted to get a direction, so I went stupid thing. I don't think he realized. I'm very sensitive, So I made a bigger deal out of it than what it was. Looking back at it now. But anyway, I went home and just studied everything in chords and stuff. And a couple of months later, 2-3 months, I was playing. It was in the shop. He had this shop in Dublin where he worked, and his friend Liam was a photographer, and they had like a hire store for equipment for gigs and DJs and stuff, and he sold guitars. So I pulled the guitar off and I was playing a few chords. He was like, oh wow, that's very cool, He got he seemed to pick it up well. He goes, he obviously didn't need me to teach you, like joking with me. And then at that night he used to play these like acoustic gigs, with a friend of his, and he was like, he called me up in front of everybody. I was like, fucking hell, man. It's like,
how old were you at the time?
It's like 21 or something.
Okay.
20, and I was so nervous. Like, it was like, but there was a girl there, I just kept staring at her playing the guitar. I was like, this is cool. this is why I want.
That's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Just play to the ladies, and But it was
I bet
really
it's the reason number one that most
like,
people get into music,
It was a good song as well. It was a song by Paul Brady called Crazy Dreams, and it's like D to G, D, A, it's like very simple kind of song. And even my dad was like, just stick with that. And even that solo, there's a solo in the intro like ding 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 ding, right? And he played that and he'd go hold the D and he'd be shouting, he'd be kind of saying hold the D and go to G, and he'd be like, and then he'd do the thing. And as he was doing, I was watching him play the solo, and that night I went home and learned the solo. It was like one of my first solos I learned. So again, watching and learn, you know. And it was great because I was playing. It was like heart was like this. And then I had the band. Then for a while I started playing electric guitar, and I had this band. We wrote some songs, and you know, it died out after a few years. And then I was playing, kind of doing some session work with this Irish musician called Micky Geraghty. It was great, and I learned a lot from him. He's a really good songwriter. And he was more in tune with me as I was with him, because he was very into the Beatles and folk music, and he was a traditional Irish musician as well. So he used to play a lot of those sit down sessions in bars and all over, like a place called Kennedy's and Slattery's in Dublin, and O'Donoghue's where we went to one. And I used to ask him, it's like, can I go? Would it be okay if I come along and just learn the chords you're playing, or the other guys are playing? Like, I want to understand these chord progressions, you know, because I'm big into chords, as you know, and I like chordal arrangements, and you know, that's my lead guitar, really, you know, the chord, the color, the song. Because like I never really learned music as a cover artist. I learned it to write music. I learned it to be my own musician. And that's why I say I'm kind of an artist in that sense. I only started learning covers afterwards, you know, like now, like I don't really ever, I never really played many covers. I know a lot of songs by ear, or learned some at home and stuff. But to me, it's always finding the song, to find the right song, the right melody, or whatever. And that's what I always search for in the guitar. And so learning trad chords and progressions was great, you know. Some beautiful rhythms and the way you go to. It's very hard to play, you know. And but so I used to go there and learn, and then I'd be playing the night before with my dad a blues gig and playing like a totally different form of music, you know. And he brought me to play. We played a gig. It was one of the hardest gigs I ever played. It was like a blues gig, and he was like, "Oh, can you come and play rhythm tonight?" Because he started. My father was always like guitar, bass, and drums. And then when I started playing guitar, he started liking the rhythm that I was. I think he liked me being with him, actually. His father's son playing, right? Sure. Obviously, it was good fun. But then I think he liked the rhythm, just because he felt he could. I think he just liked had a rhythm guitar behind him, because he never really had that before, you know. So I was just playing him, just backing him up, and you know, he'd be shouting like E7 flat 9. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Make it up, you know. And I was playing with these two guys. Johnny Queerney was a bass player. They're all my dad's age, you know. So I'm like really younger than them, like as in they're not very old, but I've like you know. When I was born, they were playing music, you know, like playing gigs and stuff. Sure. And then a small little guy called Jimmy Dial. He was a great little drummer, fucking great guy. He played in like Hamburg with all that crew, you know, the Beatles and all that were there. Like, he was part of all that. He was kind of well respected drummer, and he was just a lovely man, and he was very funny, and he is very funny. I played with him a few times, and we had a great gig. Because they were very jazzy kind of players, you know. And I was like, what am I fucking doing here, standing? I was like, shit myself. And I was like, what am I doing here, you know? And they were very cool with me, because they know me. They knew me because I was from a child, and they were just very, okay, play the D to the A, just keep that going, you know. So I learned a bit of live experience. I'm not scared to play music live now. I'm like, if I never rehearse a song the rest of my life, I could still jump on the stage and play, and that's what I like. Obviously, we prefer to rehearse and you know, but you know, jams and improvisation.
But I seem to be very human, kind of very accessible people, because I hate these musicians that are very pretentious, and if you know, they just want to show you that they are just 200 levels above you.
Gone through all that with musicians, and it scared me at once, you know.
So
But
some
then
people are really cool. They just like a guy like Bruce Springsteen. I imagine like he's like, just jam and jam along. Even if you're not the best, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, just have fun.
yeah, I mean, that's the type of musician I like. It's not
Yeah.
really about how talented they are or anything. If they're just nice people, and you know, you can play with them and have a bit
Yeah.
of fun. I mean,
Exactly.
that's all it is, you know. But I've gone through all that before, seeing really great musicians, and I'd be very scared. I'd be almost embarrassed by myself to
Okay.
be embarrassed, but I was stupid. I was fucking stupid back then. It's like, there's no one better or worse, you know. It's just someone has a different talent, and you know, I see that now. Like I see some people playing. That's great, you know, and I go, that's very good, you know. And they will say to me, they go, "Oh, I like that." I'm like, "Do you really? You like that?" And so I'm very. It's always strange, you know, but
I think it's very easy to be self-aware about these things also, and if somebody gives you feedback or bad feedback, to take it as a critique of your personality, but it's you in that moment of your life. But maybe 5 years down the road, you're a superstar, you know, or you're like much better in that.
yeah,
Like
I think it helps to be nice to people. If you could, I mean, I wouldn't go up to a stranger I've never met before and say,
Sure.
"Oh, that was shit. You didn't play
Why
the
would you
right
do that,
chord
yeah.
there." But if I say like, "I like that song," because it's always something to like in a song. It's never a song is never really bad. It could be just the wrong chord structure or something, or
Yeah,
the
like-
key is wrong
like-
for the voice. I would say like,
positive critique.
yeah. I remember
Constructive.
Who was it that I used to play in the open mic? I remember there was
It
a
wasn't
guy.
me, was it?
I'm sure I gave you some advice.
Definitely.
Or fucking, I need some myself now. No, I remember there was a guy playing the open mic, and he was I forget his name. He wasn't really good, as in he tried, you know. I just kept saying, keep practicing. You're gonna get it, and be careful of the key you're singing, because you're singing in the wrong. I think you're singing the wrong key. Try to use a capo or something to help if you don't know many chords. If play the G shape, second fret's an A, you know, whatever. And then after a while, he was like coming to the open mic and started singing very well, you know. And you know, so I could have said to him, "You're the worst musician in the world," and he would never.
I mean, I don't understand people who put others down.
Because people are like that, man. Because they just scared of someone getting better
competition.
than them. And I went through a lot of that when I was a kid and growing up. And I've only realized it now. A lot of people put me down because he knew I was a fucking. I think if I'm let loose, I can really grab shit. You know, I'm an innovator. You know.
Yeah.
And I never thought I was an innovator before, until the last kind of couple of years, whatever. But because I had people inside that to stop it, and now it's like my mum today. I had a call with my mum today on the phone, and I was talking about my house in Umbria. Like, it needs a lot of work, you know. And she was like, you know, I was saying, oh, you know, it's you know, I need to do this and that, you know, something's happened here. And she kind of went, would you not just sell your house and buy a modern house or something, you know? And I was like, no, it needs TLC, the house needs, so I want to do it. That's innovation, you know, like, rather than letting something go just because it's a pain in the ass, you know, or something. To me, it's like, it's a pain in the ass, great. You know, I like the challenge.
Sure, let's improve it step by step.
Let's
let's see what you can make out of it.
And I know, like, you know, what she's saying. I understand what she's saying, but I know when it's all done up and she sees it, she'll be like, "Oh, that was worth it." You know.
Maybe it's also part of that. It's maybe also the fact that you want to show her a bit, like.
No, it's not to prove anything to her. It's just like
not her in particular.
A step, you know.
But yeah,
it's a step that you take that step where you just step back. And I fucking hate that shit, stepping back. You know, not saying I step back. My mum steps back, and she's a very successful person herself. But it's just what she said, like, oh, maybe you should sell it and buy a new, kind of more modern house. And I could, you know, but it's not a challenge, you know. And I like challenges, and I like stepping forward now. But just nothing fucking. No one stops me anymore, and it's never gonna happen. No one's ever gonna stop me, even as anybody, you know. It's you have to, if you have the direction and you want to believe in it, you go and do it. If it fails, so what? At least you tried. And if it fails,
and you stand up and try something different, or try it again, or try it slightly modified.
You're always going to fail anyway. Something's going to happen, and you just get back on the saddle and keep going.
I don't believe in the concept of failing anyway. I mean, you maybe in that instance didn't get what you want the way you tried, so you just tried a different way. You try it again. You try it 10 times. You try it 100 times. But if you don't change your game, you didn't learn anything out of your past mistake. So you have to also modify your,
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Like the concept of failing is like you did something once and it didn't work out. You just tried it. You tried your concept. You tried it. It didn't work. Now you try a concept. Try a different concept.
Yeah, because it's always different ways.
It's not finite. Finite.
Yes, of course. And no, I really
I
encourage people to really don't listen to anybody. Like, I mean, you should listen to your parents some way, but
somebody who knows more than you, listen to them, take their advice.
Take advice. I mean, sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes people give you the wrong advice for their own interests, Sure. So, I mean, you never know. Be clever enough to see that, But, you could have, as I was saying to you before, I was like, just grab shit by the balls and just fucking keep squeezing, man, until they blow up or something, And then you've done something right, you know. And it's I like confidence. I wasn't very. I'm not probably still not majorly confident. I feel a lot more confident now than I ever have. Before I wasn't that confident, but it was just my own inner bullshit as well that was interfering with that. And I realized, like, when I came to Rome, it was like I met you when I came back to Rome. I was like, let's do this, and like 2 years later, we've achieved so much together in music, and we've like probably one of the most popular bands in Italy for the industry that we play into.
Yes.
And we did that because we were like, okay, no one's stopping us. We're not going to let anybody stop us. We're going to do this. We're going to do it right. We made some mistakes, and we were like, fix them straight away.
Yeah.
And like-minded people. You need to be around like-minded people. If you're not around people that don't see what you see, then they're not the people you should be with, in a sense, as in, if you have a goal and to be successful, it could be a friend or go for coffee with them or whatever, but if they're knocking you or they're not seeing what you're seeing.
Well, there's so many people who also put you down because of out of jealousy, or just because their life experience doesn't permit them to see the bigger picture or something, or
it's like, grow up with this, like you probably come from the family as well, like it's the old school of, get a job and be secure. Your parents got a job. My mum got a job, she was secure. My grandmother, it's like from that time, it was 99 when she died there a few years back. But she was from that time, it's like, have a job, stick it, that's it, the rest of your life, you're sorted.
That's true. But one thing
that's like so fucking depressing to me, like,
But one positive thing out of that, I'm sure it's the same for you, is also that just make it happen, just work, just pull up, your arm sleeves and just get it done,
Graft is graft. That's no problem, man, grafting is important. But, to be stuck in something in a job for 30 years you hate,
couldn't do
that's motivation to do something else to me. When I see motivation to travel, I remember I was sitting there with my grandmother once, and she was like, I have the whole world around me, but I've never been to any of these places. And I was like, fuck, I need to start seeing the world, because I didn't really travel that much till I was about 20, and or 19, 20. I was kind of like, I thought it was depressing for her because she never went anywhere. She stayed at home in Limerick City in Ireland, and she went to Dublin. That was the farthest she ever went to. But, she just at that time, like, she's an old woman, old school, but like seeing like little Eiffel Towers on her mantelpiece, my uncle used to send her, or my mum, or whatever, postcards, and it's like to myself, I'd like to see all these places in person, So the first place I went to was Paris. I remember flying there. It was nice. Nerve-wracking, man, but just walked around and got off the plane, and I was just on my own. It was fucking really daunting experience, but it was great. And ever since then, I've been like, just had the bug,
never went back, had the travel bug.
I'd seen the Eiffel Tower, I've seen so many times on TV, and studying photography and stuff. My favorite photographers are from there, and all the great pictures of the war, like Parisian life, you know, like walking around with your own camera, thinking to myself, I'm on what's his name, Henri Bresson, you know, I'm him today. I'm this photographer. I'm Bresson, you know, and it was great, you know. It was really very nice place, and you know, coming to Rome as well, or Australia, New Zealand, all these places, seeing everything physically in person, you know, Tokyo, and like lots of places in England and Germany and all over Europe basically, and it's great.
Awesome.
So I've all the stuff on my grandmother's mantelpiece now in person. So I hope she's proud of me for that.
I'm sure she is.
Yeah, but so yeah, it was. You know, travel is important. Confidence is important. Drive is important. Respect is important. You know, have all the elements. Be honest is important. You know, don't fuck people over.
Yeah.
Make it yourself. You know, I've worked with many people that, you know, fuck you over for their own benefits. But to me, it's all karma, man. They get their karma in the end. You know, like my friend Mark always says that to me. Like, and he's right though, because if someone fucks you over, you know, they can't continue on.
Some get along.
They can't continue on like that for the next 20 years and not get it, because the karma will come or someone will fuck them over in the end, you know. So that's the karma, really. So I've my conscience is clear about all that stuff, because I never fucked anyone over. I've always been. I mean, I'm a crafty bastard. I'll give myself that. I'm from Dublin, man, you know, and you know, we're known for
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
The art of the stroke, you know, the feeling of that is great, you know, but it's not fucking someone over, and that's just a different feeling, you know. To get something, I like that feeling of getting something. To it, when I get a gig for the band, it's like, yeah, and I want the next one. Then, you know, it's like getting something. It's a great achievement. Because it's your achievement. It's my achievement, your achievement, and it's a great feeling. To go, I got this gig. I got a job for 3 other people to play with me. That's cool, you know. It's no like that's all it is, you know. But it's a nice feeling.
Of course,
there's nothing else.
It's an accomplishment.
Don't need a gold medal or a promotion, even though we won this nice award anyway. The weddingsonline.ie. We won this award for the best band and
shameless self-promotion.
What was it again? The best destination weddings band or something. So, anyway, that's another story. It's another topic of conversation.
Right.
So, I don't know where I am now. Just talking too much.
You went through all the music experience. You accomplished a lot of things.
Yeah,
by your
I didn't accomplish. I'm not saying I'm
accords.
I'm Albert
you
Einstein.
Went traveling. Your grandmother didn't want to travel, and so you decided to change that.
Well, it's an influence, really. But
well, it's probably brought you to Rome in the end. I mean, you started traveling around. You went to see places, lots of places around the world.
Yeah, it's a good experience, because I was very growing up. Didn't see many foreign people, or you know, we used to see French students in the summer. You know, like as a teenager and stuff. French women, like at the time, I was very, very into them. And trying to chat to them, but the accent, I always remember hearing French women speak in English. It's really nice. It's really nice. Not anymore though, because I'm a married man now.
Sure thing.
But no, I used to love that, you know. And then I was working.
It's still nice to listen to.
Look, when I was working for a company called eBay in Dublin, and
heard of it, yeah.
I used to listen to all the people working there. It was a multicultural hub, you know. There'd be a meetings on, there'd be everybody speaking different languages. I just got really hooked into all that romanticism of life, you know, different languages and stuff.
At that age, I'm sure there was also.
Sorry.
At that age, I'm sure also there was a particular time in your life where you like suck up all these energies and these things, and you're curious and.
Yeah, so because I was once very much in love with Dublin, and you know, I played a lot of gigs there, and it's a great city. But it became a time where it became a bit too much for me in a way. So I needed to leave and travel, and I had to do it, you know.
Sure.
So I just didn't know what else to do there. in the sense of art and music and stuff. I just had enough of it, really, to be honest. And it was changing, you know, the city, the country was changing with the economy and stuff like that. It was getting very strong, and it was people becoming assholes, and oh, you don't own a house, oh my god, you know, all this shit. Like, it's like, what the fuck? I'm not fucking living with this, you know. Oh, you're wearing a hat, you look like a dickhead, you know. We wear hats here, you look fine, you know. That's what I like about living here in Italy, in Rome. It's like, it's you don't really need to own anything. Like, you can just rent wherever, you know. It's okay, or it just feels a bit free in a way, in certain ways, anyway.
Sure.
But it can be hard in other ways. But for me, anyway, it just feels very comfortable for me to be in Rome and Umbria, and it's nice, you know.
You writing any songs these days?
Well, you know, actually, when I was getting the train down to see you today from my country abode, I was thinking about. I have a lot of songs in my head. I have a lot of songs anyway, but I want to write. I need to do a new album this year, definitely.
Okay, awesome.
For my own for my own self.
Mental health.
Mental health.
Sanity.
But I have a lot. The last 6 months have been a kind of difficult personal times as well, and I want to write about that. And I have things like I gave up meats and.
You became all healthy, like no meat, no coffee, and.
Well, I need to give up certain things. Coffee is something that I can't drink coffee on its own. Yeah. I have to have some sweetener, and it was like, well, if I'm doing that, then I don't like it anyway. So why bother, you know? Now it's herbal teas and, you know, decaf coffee. Sometimes decaf coffee.
What has become of
nodding his head here, going, what's wrong with him? And then you know, eating meats as well. I've been a bit more cautious about.
Oh, that's good. That's great.
Meats I've been intaking. Last summer we ate a lot of meats during the gigs we played, and I just kind of felt a bit. Oh, that was a bit too much, because I like. But now, I haven't eaten meat since September.
Wow.
Last year. And
you miss it?
My wife last night was like, "Why don't you just order?" We had dinner last night in this lovely place outside of the town we live in, and she was like, "If you want to get meat, get it." And I was like,
"What?
No."
She's vegetarian.
Yeah,
right?
And that's helped a lot, because it's easier to eat at home, because you don't slap on a burger. You don't slap on someone's puts on a burger in front of you, like, you know.
Yeah.
But it's becoming more now. It's where I don't even want to eat it anymore. Like, actually, we talked to my mum today. She goes, "You don't miss bacon sandwich?" And like, I said, to test this when I go back to Dublin.
Sure. Everybody's eating meat there.
If I get the craving for the bacon.
But you're not vegan, right? You're vegetarian.
No, I eat fish and stuff.
Okay.
Just solely like meat. That's all. Poultry.
One thing, I like meat. I just, when I eat meat, it's I want to make sure it's not from some stupid industrial process. Like, I hate all these mass.
That's be like free-grown
farms, exactly. Like a happy walking around, like happy sheep, happy chickens.
Don't disagree with anybody eating meat. I'd be a hypocrite.
Like ethically produced, you know.
Yeah, I mean, farming is very big problem for the environment and stuff. So,
or maybe somebody who hunted it properly, you know, like that's.
I think wild
boar or something. That's
going back to eat meat. I would eat anything wild, just
also tastes so much
naturally
better.
killed, because like, rabbit is nice actually.
Yeah,
rabbit is a lovely animal, but it's nice to eat as well.
Sure,
they're not just cute and cuddly, but they're nice and salty as well. When I was eating rabbit. Yeah. But I only experienced rabbit here. I never ate it in Ireland or anything. Ireland was pork.
But everybody likes it. Like, rabbit is very peculiar, the taste of it. But
and like there's certain.
I like it. I'm used to it. My grandmother used to make it.
Yeah, I think wild boar, all these things like are interesting. But for me, I just kind of need to change. You know, I want a vegetarian diet for at least a year and see how I am.
Yeah,
but like,
I mean, you look very healthy. I must say.
Give up alcohol for a while. You know,
with a very nice skin.
Yeah. Oh no, that's just youth. I thank my mother. My mother for that one. Mom, thanks for
good genes.
She's she's very young looking herself, and I always blessed to have good looking parents. And
amen.
You young parents. But so the meeting is just a project. Again, I'm a project kind of guy. I set projects for myself, like, as in, okay, no coffee, no meat. Let's see how it goes. Next would be, okay, don't drink any beer or alcohol for 4 months. See what happens, you know. Go mental. But like, next thing, give up. I don't know. It's something else. Like, give up something else.
Cigarettes next.
Cigarettes,
next up,
yeah.
Next up on the horizon.
I do smoke, and I don't encourage it. It's a dirty habit, and unfortunately, I'm sucked into it. But I'm, trying to cut down as well with that. But it's definitely something that's gonna happen. Like, I need to kick it in the ass, because maybe I'll try those. Like, I saw a lot of people. It seems to be fashionable at the moment. These electronic butts. You stick them in, and it's like small little cigarettes.
So it's part cigarette, part, because like they used to, like a few years ago, the e-cigarette was like the thing.
I don't like those. I have the liquid one.
Yeah.
I find it very dry, but these are new. These are like Alfonso, our friend, used them, and I remember he was one of the first people. But it's like a little butt. You stick it in, and electronically you press this button, draw in the tobacco, but it's filtered so heavily that none of the filter's still white when you're finished, and it's a couple of drags or something, and apparently it's kind of good. It really helps people. And I saw, like, last night I was at a wine bar, and it was like outside, everybody, there was towels, there was about 15 people standing there with these. It was really weird. It's like the new way, so I might try it out and see, to look into it. But I don't smoke cigarettes. Like, I don't buy packets of cigarettes, but I smoke tobacco, rolly tobacco. It's still not good, but it's just a bad habit. When I was young, I hated cigarettes. I really didn't like them, but I grew up with smoking around me and stuff. It's not an excuse for smoking, but it's always been a part. But I'm kind of tired of it now, I'm getting.
I'm so glad I quit.
Yeah, you did well. Like, I mean, we smoked.
I used to smoke quite a lot. Like in my worst days, which was over 10 years ago, I suppose, I could smoke up to 3 packages a day.
Jeez, like 20 packs, 20 cigarettes per pack. Wow.
But it was like partying hard.
Yeah, it
didn't last for long, but
I don't smoke a lot per day. I smoke, like, I don't smoke a hell of a lot. Sometimes I smoke a lot more. But I stopped drinking coffee and all that. That's
good. That's really good.
Coffee and cigarettes are like,
I know, it's connected.
Beer and cigarettes are like, But so, I think to do something, you need to cut down something else, So, like, giving up meats, then you cut down on using too much olive oil or other stuff that's not good for meat, like, or you cut down on, if you gave up like drinking for 3 months, 4 months, you would definitely cut down on smoking as well, because it just goes hand in hand. It's
totally.
And we live in a place where you can sit outside, and now today is beautiful, and it's a beautiful day. People sitting outside having a beer and having a smoke. It's just, that's the way it is here. It's very difficult to get away from that.
Oh yeah.
As in, if you're in California, you smoke, you're like a drug addict, oh my God, you smoke or something.
It's funny because they're more healthy in one way, but way more unhealthy in other ways, It's funny.
Well, I was in LA, but I go there quite a bit for my job. And an example of what I think is going on over there, it's like, how can you be happy for 24 hours a day? Seriously, you go to the airport. Oh, you're going to Ireland? Oh my God, that's lovely. And they're like 6 a.m, and they're like,
you think it's
smiling,
fake?
like the cheek, like going.
You think it's
Joker. Fake? Well, I was like, how can somebody be that chirpy at 6:30 in the morning? You have to be taking something, like, definitely.
Oh, I read about it. I think there's a lot of people actually for pressure and also studying, and they take a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, because you have to maintain some sort of level, right? So. This woman, I remember I was waiting for an Uber. Actually, I was staying in this place near the YouTube head office. So a lot of people in the area worked in YouTube.
Okay.
I forget the name of the whatever. It's just like YouTubeville, everybody. I remember this lady walking by with her dog, and she was like smiling all the way past me, and then a packet of Xanax fell out of her pocket.
Oh,
and I was like, "Excuse me, you dropped your this," and it was like Xanax.
Great.
And I was like, okay, that makes it all. That makes sense. So, I think there's a lot of that power. People working out there drink a lot of Red Bull and energy drinks. Sorry,
San Bruno in California.
No. It's in LA, but it was just like it's just kind of an apartment complex. It was a nice place. It was cool, and but I think a lot of people are pressurized into trying to be
always
too positive and
be
stuff.
always at your peak, and
it's good to be knocked down a few times or be sad.
Well, you have to recharge. Like you have to recharge your batteries. You rewind. Your brain needs a break. Yeah. If you otherwise, sooner or later you're gonna have to go to a mental health institution.
To me, it's
psychologist.
Play the guitar for a few hours.
It's like meditation.
So
it's good for you.
But some people are just career driven and they have a drive and they have to drink to go for. But in one way, it's healthy. Like people there, it's a healthy life in California in a way. Cause it's people are running in the morning. Sun is out all the time. It's a healthy climate. And then you go running before work and go to work all fresh and stuff and work for 20 hours whatever you do, and then go back. You go running again and eat the good food. So you pay the price for it, though, man. It's not cheap there, and it's my feeling of it. It's like I think some people are taking things to be more motivated, and I don't.
Oh, definitely. There's definitely a lot of people doing that. Yeah.
And then, like me, I remember being in an Uber taxi and I had a smoke before the Uber. So when I got in, he was like, "I have to open the windows. There's
really?
You smell of smoke." And I was like, "Oh, you want to smell 6,000 cars instead?" It's like maybe feel that to be a real like scum of the earth, but it's what it is. It's like, oh, you can buy a gun and shoot someone in the head and smell all those lovely exhaust fumes from 6,000 cars driving up and down the highway every day. That's fine with me, man. No problem. Yeah,
country of contradictions.
You can get a good review off me after that. So that's the beauty of Uber, But Uber is great, though. It's really good, And it's California. It's interesting. I'd like to live there maybe for a bit and see what it's like, just as a to understand it more, get in underneath the sheets,
Sure.
But at the moment I'm here, and I like it,
great.
and I think I'll be staying here for quite a long time.
I hope so. You're gonna stay for a while. So we can keep playing.
Well, we got
a bit more.
We got busy times ahead.
Well, tonight we got to play. Actually, I think we should soon get ready because
wrap up. Before
because we gotta
tune up my mandolin.
Get ready. Exactly, tune up the guitar.
I think we have a meal waiting for us in a few minutes.
Exactly. If I manage to get this video up on time, I see you tonight. No, here's the camera. I had to switch cameras before because he had a camera chickened out on me. So the miracles of technology. So we're gonna be playing tonight at the Fiddlers Elbow for St. Patrick's Day with the Waistcoats Band. Join us there at what time? 9:30.
9:30. Then till midnight.
9:30 p.m. more or less. So be there, be square, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's Kyola crack.
Shabba-dabba-da. All right, Paul. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Sal. That's
for the second time today.
It's always a pleasure. But the
first time was a bit.
It was a sound check that went wrong.
We don't know yet if everything's working right now. We're gonna see in a minute. So let's hope so.
I'm exhausted now.
And me too. That's the last time today.
And plus we're singing tonight, so I need to get some
bloody hell
hot water and honey into my throat because it's getting very dry. But anyway, man, it's always a great pleasure, and thanks for
being part of this.
Listening to my drivel of bullshit for the last hour, So.
No, it was very pleasant. Thanks, man. All right.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.